Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Jandal Season 6, Race 3 at the Nurburgring. With me today is Harry Lillis. Good evening, Harry.
Good evening, Mike. Pleasure to be here again.
So, for those that don't know, and most of the people here won't, me and Harry used to do commentating on a top tier for F1. So, it's been a long time since we've both been in the com box. And so looking for a good race tonight. Looks like a pretty good turnout by the Discord chat. So we're just waiting for everyone to get in, and while that's happening, I will get these other couple of programs up and running. If I can remember the name of them. So Nurburgring tonight, everyone again in different cars as per season rules dictate. So Harry, what would have been your car of choice here for the Nurburgring if you were indeed racing?
It all eventually comes down to driver style around a track like this. It's quite a technical one at that. A lot of corners, but also as well as those sort of slower, more technical sections, there's also a bunch of high mid-speed corners that would typically suit cars such as the McLaren, which are typically strong anyway. But the problem is, as we start to get later on in this season, people are running out of choices. You know, the popular cars that typically run around, like that of the McLaren, let's say Aston Martin as well, we're starting to see a bit more creative ideas and cars that are not often used as much. Like I see a couple of Audi R8s out there. Not a particularly common choice, but I have driven it quite a bit around this track in particular, and it does feel quite okay. So it's really good to see a large variety of cars being pushed by these new regulations.
Yeah, which brings in a whole different aspect, and DJ was my usual commentator, usually brings this up, is people forgetting to practice pit stops. Each car has a different length of bonnet, different spot, which can cost you 2 to 3 seconds, or it can gain you 2 to 3 seconds. So again, pit stops will make a big difference tonight, I'm assuming.
Yeah, no, that's exactly right. And as well as that, Mark, obviously these guys have a little bit of time to practice before the session starts, but as well as the handling of trying out new cars every weekend, it's also a lot of things that you got to adapt to, whether that be fuel efficiency or even tire wear. Lots of cars are quite hard on their tires in comparison to others, and that's always a challenge to adapt to. It's not just the handling of the cars that these guys need to get used to.
No, it's not. It's fuel's not really an issue. They are 45-minute races, so it's just calculating how much fuel you're going to need over the whole race, which is usually under 90 litres, about 83, 84 on par, I think, for most cars. So if you work that out, tyre wear, 45 minutes shouldn't be an issue either. I doubt we'll see anyone change tyres for that reasoning. Are they 30-second regardless pit stops? Harry, you done one race this season?
Yeah, the pit stops can vary. They aren't guaranteed to be 30 seconds. They can really be quite short, and I don't remember doing my pit stop and having a 30 seconds, obviously not changing tyres. Probably just, if anything, putting in a drop or so of fuel just to count the pit stop there. But I guess, for example, last season, it didn't really work that well, just because it actually does take quite a bit of time to put fuel in these cars, as I learned over time. But there was on the odd occasion I'd try to be cheeky and underfuel the car at the start to really have that upper hand on pace and then pit earlier.
Yep.
But then, you just lose all that time anyway in the pit stop. To those that run full fuel from the start, not having to put anything in, let's say, putting half a tank in on your pit stop, that's going to cost you, 12 or 15 seconds in comparison to those that just start the race on that tank anyway. So, yeah, there's not really a whole lot of strategy variety in these cars, but definitely, I'd say better racing just because people are still learning to adapt to cars they wouldn't normally use.
Yeah. Which is what made it an interesting race. And the first couple were very good, actually. We were spoilt for choice on what to watch because everyone is adapting to a new car or something different that they've never really spent time behind the wheel of. They might have done a lap here or two, but up until yesterday, I know people still weren't quite sure on what they were going to take. So yeah, very, very different. We got a couple of Nissans. We got one Lexus.
Yeah, that's exactly right as well. Yeah, and with this variety as well, there's also a bit of strategy to it here, especially those that are fighting for championship points up the front. Some probably deciding to hold on to their cards and use their better, more favourable cars towards the end of the season, and then you've got some doing the opposite. Using the really less favourable cars at the start of the season, and then sort of building your way up. There's so much variety going on out there from driver to driver, and a lot of things to adapt over a race. And the main difference from this season to last season when I was driving is having a qualifying. Some cars prefer to be on lighter or heavier fuel, and some drivers are better at qualifying as they are on race pace. There's so much variety here out on track, from car to car.
Yep.
You could be used to a car on lighter fuel, but as soon as you start that race and the car's a bit heavier, it might not handle the way you want it to. So, or more importantly, the way you're used to. So, it's definitely a challenge.
We've got Smurfington there just being cautious coming up through the Schumacher S's. The one corner on this track that I know the name of.
Yeah, that's right. Usually, I swear, all these other corners are a whole lot of German gibberish that I do not know how to pronounce. But yeah, Schumacher S's, that's pronounceable.
Yeah. So currently we got Duke provisional pole with a 57.6, and then you got Gunter with a 57.70, and then you got Adam Falconer with a very respectable 57.79, so only 9/100ths of a second off 2 and 3 there. And then there's a considerable gap back to Tracy with a 57.8 at the moment. And then it's the considerable gap back to James Foster with a 59.3. So
Duke, absolutely on top of his game, undoubtedly this season. Just I remember that dominant performance out in Alton Park a few weeks ago. Just seems to be able to adapt so quickly out there in the Audi R8, which is, especially on a track that has quite a few curbs and bumps, he is absolutely wringing every last drop of that car out of pace of that car.
He's just gone quicker with a 57 dead.
He has a 57 dead. That is unbelievably quick.
So I know he can go quicker than that. I've seen quicker than that from him. So track temp at the moment 30. So I'm surprised we're not down into the 56s, early 56s for these top guys yet. But James doing well in the Nissan, currently P5.
The mighty GTR. Good to see that thing out there on track. Again, one of those cars that doesn't usually get a whole lot of attention in standard ACC. You don't see it around that often, but it's really not that bad of a car. Gave it a go out in Alton Park, and race didn't really turn out for me, but when I was out there, it was a ton of fun to drive. And man, what a glorious piece of engineering that is, winning the 12-hour. What year was it out at Bathurst? 2017?
15, I do believe.
15, yes, that's
Coming
correct.
from
Beautiful car.
fourth after a
Yeah.
late race safety car, and about 8 cars in between him and the leader.
Yeah, absolutely awesome car, that is, so it's good to see that out. There's a few of them. I see a gold Nissan in the pit lane, so
That would be
duo
Ethan
out there.
Wilcox in the pit lane. Thomas Robertshaw in a Ferrari, a red, white, green livery on the Ferrari there. So that's the end of free practice.
How about this, Mark? This is the beauty of the shake-up in people not really, having to think about their choices of cars. Only one M4 out there, and that is Smurfenstein in the pit lane. Usually that car is fairly loved in this game, and only one of them out there. Perhaps people are saving that thing for a bit later in the season. That or already used it. From what I remember, that thing is fairly strong.
Yeah, it has been nerfed a little bit, but it still seems to be, especially on open lobbies, it seems to be a fan favourite from what I've seen. Doing a few rounds. Paul Huddy in a McLaren 720, I do believe that is. I can't actually tell the difference between the two McLarens, unfortunately.
The Huddy, yeah, no, that's the 720S.
Oh yeah, it is too. It's got it written there on the side if I look.
Yep, if you've got eyes there.
So he comes across the line to set a 59, and qualifying starting 27 degree track, 22 ambient. So
You know, it seems to be the manufacturer that's won in popularity out there is Porsches by quite a comfortable margin. I think there's 4, maybe 5 Porsches out there. Quite a few. And also McLarens. Porsches and McLarens. Germany versus England on the favour of the German home track here.
yeah, we got a few Lambos. There's 3 Lambos. There's 2 R8s, which are pretty much Lambo anyway, with a shorter wheelbase.
Yeah, yep, same, basically everything.
Yeah, so the Germans aren't underrepresented by any means. So we're riding on the rear here of Gunter Rowe in the Audi R8. As I'll just let my other program do an auto Dave cameraman, as we like to call it here, watching Ethan in the 266 mobile of the GTR, coming down the hill to down to the hairpin. So now I did ask one of these other drivers, Harry, and you're probably a better man to ask. Not that my other people weren't. This hairpin here that Wilcox was going through, back when we were on PlayStation and Gran Turismo, you could watch interviews with Lewis Hamilton telling us how he did his bit there for Gran Turismo Sport.
Yep.
And he was saying that hairpin, he likes to make it as like a triangle, like tries to double apex it. What's your line through that hairpin?
It's a really tricky corner. One of the more tricky corners on the whole game, not definitely on this track. And it seems to be there's a few ways to take it, Mark. And that tailors to driving style and the car that you're driving. But typically, I don't really think the exit curve there is very friendly. It tends to unsettle the car quite a bit if you take too much of it. So I typically prefer running it a bit deep and then taking a late apex and really getting that exit speed, slow in, fast out.
Yep.
Some others like to commit to the corner a bit earlier with more entry speed, but then you just don't get as much of a run up the hill into the Schumacher S's. But yeah, I tend to prefer running it in really deep and then turning in for a late apex, and then maximizing all that exit speed. but that's certainly not the only way to take that corner.
Yeah. Well, as we just saw, I think that was the Duke behind Tracy here. He took all of that exit. And I was having a bit of a drive in the Lambo throughout the week. Just playing around, not really doing anything. But I found using that exit curve in the Lambo, at least, it liked it.
Yep.
So yeah, it was just very different how the 7-time world champion in F1 saw that corner, and they are completely different cars to what we're seeing here today. So that might be the way he set his Mercedes up. Not that
Definitely.
F1 have gone there recently. Don't believe we've been to Germany in F1 for a while, have we?
In genuine Formula 1, we were at the
2019?
Yeah, this track actually, not too long ago. I think last season we had a one-off here. So, but I don't think there's any permanent German tracks on the calendar at the moment, no.
No, because they usually swap between this and the Hockenheim ring.
Yes, absolutely tragic to see Hockenheim off the calendar. What a track that is. Yeah, absolutely shocking to see that track go.
I'd still prefer the old style, which was literally just a big oval with a couple of chicanes in it, just to slow down the cars. But what a track that was in the late 90s, very early 2000s. That anyone that remembers it, no longer a track at all. Actually, it's fully overgrown. Unlike the Monza historic circuit, that's still technically there. They still run that for a few special events, I do believe, out there at Monza.
One thing I've definitely missed from the old F1 days in commentary, doing a track guide, riding on board with someone through the track, all the way through their lap. I think the only man to do this for is Duke. Seems to be a master around here, and he's coming into the final chicane right now in that blacked out Audi R8. Absolutely wicked car, one of the better looking GT3 cars on the grid. Coming in here to the final corner. I'm not sure if he's on a lap right now and might be backing off this lap, but let's see what he's going to set here.
6/10.
He goes to the top of the table, 56.435. Whether or not he will be pushing once again, I'm not sure. But into the first corner, a few braking points there. Seems to have run a little bit deeper than you typically like. Really tricky section here, really tricky, and a few ways to take it. It's really hard to get that grip, to get that car turned around there, especially with all that weight transfer. And you've got into here, man, what a technical section of track. You really got to use a good amount of curb here and really get that car turned in. Really easy to understeer. Out of the first sector into the second sector, downhill fast left-hander, braking just before that curb starts on the right-hand side, bringing it right over. Some choosing to bring it right over to the left-hand side before turning in. Others choosing to stay close to the right. Duke using a fair bit of exit curb there. On the
we got a bit of rain coming down.
There we go. The track is going to get a little bit slippery in the back end of this. This might lock in the current table mark.
I reckon it fair chance of it. It's already gone to a green track, and it's within 30 minutes. It's not going to get any better. So I reckon this has locked the table. Anyone who hasn't got a lap, which I don't think there is anyone. Maybe Andy Linkgard maybe hasn't got a lap. We'll just bring up the timetable.
And wow, what a shake-up this is, Mark. Rowe in the Audi R8, who was showing incredible pace in the practice session before. He's tucked all the way down in 8th, 1.5 seconds off of Duke. So that is a big upset there in the field. He'll be looking to get back up in the race. Plenty of time. 45 minutes is a bunch of time to weave your way up a field, but that is an upset.
And out of the top 4, so So Duke's got purple in Sector 1, Robert Shaw's purple in Sector 2, and Tracy is purple in Sector 3. So that's very interesting. And R. Mitchell hasn't got any purple sectors, and he's stuck his Lambo right there in 3rd position.
Wow.
He might have loosened his grip.
Hello, Captain Andy.
Hello.
Hello, mate. How are you doing?
Yeah, mate. I won't be racing tonight.
You won't be racing?
No, suffering an injury and caused by the dog knocking me over last week.
Oh, you're still suffering?
Yeah, and also the children, because Julie's been called into work at the last minute.
Yep.
So the children keep bugging me every 5 seconds, asking me this and asking me that, and I'm trying to get a lap or two in.
Oh,
So I need to go and see to them so they don't kill each other.
Roger that. Well, I reckon it's a good time to pull out, mate, because the rain's just started
Yeah.
here.
I heard Hez talking about that. So
In
I might even put it on the old YouTube on the telly while I'm having my dinner.
Yeah, I'll get a link going shortly, mate, and we'll throw out a few links for people to be able to watch us live.
Yep, no worries.
Well, I doubt
It'll be on
qualifying
your channel.
Yeah, I doubt qualifying will have anything else to offer.
It'll just all it will do is just get the starting order, and that will change if it's going to rain. And qualifying looked very overcast, so likelihood of rain is very high.
Well, it is raining currently, and there's only a few cars out on track, and I doubt they will better their lap times.
Yeah.
So.
Oh,
Going out there for fun at this point.
Yeah. Maybe a bit
All right,
of.
boys, have a good one.
Thank you, Andy.
Thank you very much.
Cheers.
Maybe just getting out there for a bit of wet weather practice, just in case of rain.
Yeah, no, wouldn't be a bad idea, Mark. It's definitely we have seen some weather changes impact races, definitely for the better as a spectator, and improve the challenge for the drivers. But it is one thing that not many people take time out of their day to go and practice for. As a driver, you go out, you practice on a dry track. You might do a lap or two in the rain, but those valuable few laps, they can make the difference.
Certainly, absolutely, 100%. Just knowing where to start tyre pressures, where to finish tyre pressures, where,
Yep.
With current track temps, it's 25 degrees. And it looks like it's going to get heavier before the end. So why not get out and figure out what these wet tyres are going to do, and maybe alter your setup in case of a wet start to the race.
Yeah, you're exactly right, Mark. Sitting in the pits, especially on, a simulator that can definitely bring in those weather changes, and a league that does want to shake things up and make things interesting, you'd be silly not to get out there and get at least a few laps of practice in out in the slippery stuff. And as I say that, Wilcox in this end, running a bit deep there at the hairpin, that is one thing drivers will need to learn to adjust in the rain, is their braking points, turn-in points, all of the above. You pretty much need to really switch up your driving completely from standard out there in the rain.
And the one thing I've figured out, which is kind of common knowledge, is sticking away from the curbs. So
Oh yes.
drive a different line to as you would if it was dry, because the AstroTurf on this particular track will eat and spit you out the other end, and you'll very quickly find yourself into a wall somewhere.
That's actually a really, really good point, Mark. Now that I think of it, this track, it's no stranger to curbs, and your racing line frequently you're riding curbs on this track.
Yes.
There's red and white rumble strips all over this circuit, being a purpose-built track. So yeah, it's definitely something drivers will need to adapt, completely avoiding pretty much any curbs and any AstroTurf specifically, like you said, because that basically becomes an ice skating rink out there. You really got to avoid it.
Yeah, as we just say, Falconer now battling with his Lexus to get back up the hill to the Schumacher S's. Very slidey. Looks like he's having a bit of fun though, and probably the best sounding car in the game.
Oh, 100%.
Closely followed by the BMW M6.
Bit of bias there, I think, mate. From you driving it last season.
Well, nothing outdoes a blow valve. I mean, honestly.
Nah, I think the Aston Martin sounds pretty good, mate.
Oh, the V12, come on.
Ah, well, true. The old one, the old V12, that's a winner.
Yeah, the V8 just sounds like everything else.
Ah, come on now. Come on. Yeah, no, that's also
Ethan's gone deep again at the hairpin. I think he's just trying to. He's trying to extend the track there a little bit. Just trying to make an extra little line that he can take throughout the race. Trying to cut the gravel now while he can. While it's not going to change any. While there's no real damage of losing a position or anything.
He's a pioneer, mate. He's making the first ever rallycross circuit at the Nurburgring.
Yep. Michael Rill just done that through the Schumacher S's, actually. Went off into the gravel. So these guys that are on track... Yeah, these guys that are on track are finding it very slippery.
It is definitely a few spots on this track that are known for holding a fair bit of standing water. So that's also something drivers will need to find and spot out, because if you can learn where to dodge those and make your own lines around them, definitely time to be gained. A few examples. Final corner, if you get too close to the curb on the inside, there tends to be a fair bit of water there. And then also the fast right-hander in the final sector, just before the chicane there, the final chicane. On the inside of that kink, there usually is quite a fair bit of puddling.
Yeah, I think years there used to be, years ago, I think they've cambered it so it runs out to the grass. But turn one, definitely, coming out of the main straight, there's usually a river, if there's any standing water, which we're running on board with Darren now, coming into turn one. So just there, about where that cone is where the water usually starts to puddle and form up. Duke's just come out, obviously got the wet tyres set. So there's nothing yet. You can see where the track splits to go off to the 24-hour layout there, where it normally pulls in and starts to get a bit of a river flow. Just on board now with Duke, and you can just see the puddles already starting to form. Very treacherous, very easy on the throttle. You can hear the car starting to bottom out through the puddles.
And yeah, typically the Audi that runs very low naturally. We definitely need to be making a setup change. Oh, on the grass there. Yeah, this car, particularly the Audi.
Oh, that's deep.
Ooh,
that's very deep.
There we go. Suffering the consequences there. Just probably a split-second decision later on the brakes. Off into the gravel. Oh, grabbing a bit too much curb and understeering, nearly back out into the gravel again. That Audi R8 sliding quite a bit out there on the circuit.
So I'm surprised Robert Shaw, Mitchell, Tracy and Palat haven't gone out either to get a bit of practice here in wet conditions.
True.
Just in case. So coming down now, the final part of the track.
As you say that. Mitchell's spun in the pit lane.
Mitchell's spun in the pit lane.
He's done on Bottas.
Robert Shaw's coming out. They must have all heard me.
They must have.
Adrian's still in there. Falcon is still out here in the Lexus.
What a champion.
With his rain light on. Windscreen wiper going full wall. 2 minutes left of qualifying. Track temps seem to settle down now at 24 degrees. You can just see how slippery those curves would be. So at the moment, Falcon is setting 2:14s. 2:11 that lap. And his PB was a 57.6. So, what's that? 15 seconds. Roughly. But saying that, it was actually quicker than the current pole sitter that lap.
Yeah.
So, wet weather's really going to throw it up if we see any wet weather for the race. Obviously, Duke went off. Oh, Duke's had a spin at the hairpin. He's just kept it. Just kept it. So we'll go back 30 seconds here. Have a look. He's come out of the hairpin. No, that's not the hairpin. Where's that? Oh, this is coming down to the hairpin. He's got it stopped just in time, and then he's hit the gas. Just hit that outside curb, and around she goes. So, very good catch there by Duke. Back to live pictures now. He's got that thing absolutely flying at the moment. Oh, he's got it sideways there. That is a very wet track though. I would not like to be out there in this sort of weather.
No, certainly not. Absolute ice skating rink, even on the
wet tyres.
Yeah, exactly. And also, usually, I mean, sort of kicks in more on a track that's been driven on all day, but normally the standard racing lines that you'd normally take, the ones that are really quite rubbered up, then become the greasiest, most slippy lines that you want to avoid on a wet track. So, but then you also got to balance out, I want to be on the dry line though. So it's definitely super tricky conditions out there, particularly on those high mid-speed corners like the Schumacher S's.
Yeah, well, the Schumacher S's aren't in this condition. Aren't going to be anywhere near what they are in dry conditions, which is just a slight lift, maybe a dab of the brake depending on your car. But in this it'll definitely be a braking zone. Probably not one for overtaking, but definitely a braking zone nonetheless.
100%. Completely different corner, just flipped on its head from that really fast section where you're really only just downshifting, maybe a dab on the brake. In the rain, it'll be a complete braking zone. Definitely having to bring that car right down to speed to keep that thing stable.
So, it is wet at the moment for the race.
Indeed it is.
But it's going to dry up in 3 minutes, so before we get to the formation lap, it will dry.
Oh, that's interesting.
So what are they going to do?
The track will stay wet for a little while, which is a call that drivers will have to make. If I were to take a guess, Mike, you'd probably, if the rain's going to stop in 3 minutes, you'd be silly to start on wets. You'd almost, I mean, at the same time, people were struggling out there on the wet track on the full wet tyres, so yeah, would slicks be too slippery by the time that comes around?
Carl Jacobi said, "Oh man, my game crashed in qualifying."
It's hard to tell.
Yeah. I know it's 27 track temp, but there's no wind at this current time. And in 10 minutes it could start raining again, Germany being Germany.
True.
So I've done it, that strat that you were just talking about, go out in the dries and try and risk it. But being at the front end, Do you just go out, put wets on? When you pit, you make that your one compulsory pit and you change the drawers? I don't know.
Oh wow, yeah, no, I didn't even think of that. That's a good point, Mark. You know, that'd probably be the safer option for those that want to keep that track position. The ones up the front of the field, yeah, probably a conservative strategy. You know, to start on the wets and switch to dries. But then also on top of that, like you said before, it could start raining again, and then your strategy's completely ruined. So there's definitely a few ways to go about this. If I want to make a call, I'm starting on the dries. Mark, I'm going to make that call, and we'll see how that plays out. I would start on the dry tyre and just see how I go.
Okay. So we'll run you through the grid, ladies and gentlemen. We got Duke on provisional pole, or on pole position. We'll just change the camera here. So Duke in car 31. Then you got Thomas Robert Shaw in the 888 Ferrari. Rob Mitchell in the 28 Lamborghini. Paul Tracy, or Prune Tracy, in the car 15 Porsche 911. Adrian Platt in 275 Lamborghini with a fellow Lamborghini directly in front of him. Simon Phillips in 87 in a Porsche. Adam Falconer in the Lexus of 524. A bit of a different car for this sort of track, I would have thought. Gunter Rowe in P8 in the Audi R8, car 58. A lot of 8s in that. Simon Carlson in car 89 in a McLaren 720. Ethan Wilcox in the 266 Mobile GTR. That's the top 10. And then you got Mike Rill in the Honda of car 13 in P11. Paul Huddy P12 car 36. Darren Bridges P13 car 82 in a Honda. David Mason car 1. Running your car there, Harry, in a McLaren. James Foster in 188 in a GTR. Carl Jacko. No, Carl Jacko is not. Mark Mears in the Porsche car 73. Smurfington in the only M4 in car 71. And you got Zach G in a Porsche of car 44, and then you got Jordan Waddle in the V8 Aston Martin, ringing up the end of the field. So there we have it, ladies and gentlemen. 19 people on the field. Is that correct? Yes, that is. 19 people here. Ethan Wilcox is starting from pit lane, apparently. So that won't help the GTR at all, as they're away and doing the formation. So just quickly, Duke, we used to do it back in the F1 days, mate. What's your top 3?
Top 3. Oh man, so hard to tell. You'd have to think Duke would be up there. Definitely up. I'd say for the win, I'm going to say Duke. Easy decision from pole, but oh man, I'm going to back in Adrian Pilat. I reckon he could get up there 100%, starting 5th position, promising there. Sort of in that point where he could go with any strategy he wants. He could go out on a limb and do something a bit different and get up there. And also, I'm just going to say it coming up the field, especially when the track dries up, I'm going to say Rowe in the Audi as well. So yeah, we'll go with that. Duke, Adrian Pilat, and Rowe.
So what you've literally just done there is picked all 3 of the same manufacturer, mate. I know Adrian is technically in a Lamborghini, but I mean,
they're all the same car though.
it's all same underneath the carbon fibre cockpit.
Yep.
So I'm going to go Duke and Robert Shaw will battle out P1.
Yep.
and someone else will get that. And then, look, I don't want to take anything away from Tracy, but I reckon Tracy or Mitchell could go the final podium position.
Certainly right.
So, not much there, but obviously the top two will fight pretty hard in tooth and nail. Still very wet circuit, so turn one will be very dangerous.
Yeah, this will be interesting. It's one of those corners, particularly in sim racing, but also in real racing, that likes to cause a little bit of carnage. That turn one, not dissimilar to Monza, the first chicane there.
Yes.
Typically quite hectic in online sim racing, especially in the wet, but I like to think we've got a good group of clean drivers in this league, so
Yeah.
we'll see how we go.
And running from Helicam, you can see a distinctive racing line. It's not a dry line. Certainly is a racing line though, so that will be interesting 2-3 laps when everything gets up to temp, and to see who's on what tyre, because you'll see wet weather tyres driving off it to chase the water, and obviously dry runners will be on it and not wanting to touch any water. But here we go, they're starting to form up now, ladies and gentlemen, for season 6, round 3 at the Nurburgring. We got Duke on the inside, Robert Shaw on the outside. Two completely different cars to get off the line. It will be a drag race down into turn one. I am certain of that. So here we go. Coming up to it now. And it's away we go. Robert Shaw's got the initial launch, I think, but it's bumped down a little bit. Duke's pulled away. He's covered Robert Shaw there to the outside line. We got Mitchell up into P2 comfortably in the other Lamborghini. Oh, they've all gone a bit deep. There's no contact yet. There is a car wide. Who's that in the Honda? Is that real in the Honda? No. No contact of yet. Very good start to the race. Oh, there's a spinning Gunter has been tapped. I don't know. What are we doing here? Gunter's lost a lot of positions. He's had a terrible start, actually. That's unfortunate there for Gunter.
Up the front, Duke running away with a bit of a lead here. But a really close battle here between, who's that, Robert Shaw and Tracy. Yeah, wow, what a start. Pretty clean for the most part, which is good to see.
Just waiting for the time
It's freaking out a bit.
Yeah, the times to settle down so we can give his who's doing what. But Duke is currently P2.
Through the Schumacher races.
There's a yellow Porsche there. That's Adrian in P3, I'm assuming.
The yellow Porsche is Tracy.
Yeah, so Adrian's just got in front of him in the Lamborghini.
He goes real on the inside, now outside of that yellow Porsche. Oh, a bit of contact there. Forced wide.
That Porsche is going to be hammered here down the straight by the Honda. It's going to be tricky. Honda doesn't quite have the legs at the moment. He's having a look. He's back down. Wow, that's very tight racing.
Wow, just that sort of awkward crossover where if you go to defend now, you're too late and you'll make contact, cause an accident, but you also can't completely back out of it. Really good racing there. Lap 1 though, Honda might just want to settle down a little bit. Speaking of which, just behind them, a McLaren and a GTR battling. Who's that?
That
into
is
turn 1.
Carson
McLaren on the inside.
Foster. The GTR's going the over-under, maybe. No, can't quite get it turned. The GTR's got a sister Honda coming right up the back of it too. Just got to be careful. Coming out of turn 2 here, you will lose traction if you touch any curb. As we see, skid marks there from Paul. Oh, there's a big crash.
Oh,
Who's that? Was that real? Real has been turned around, I think. What's happened is, he's just clipped Adrian. Adrian's kept going, and then the GTR has run straight up his gearbox.
Oh, wow. Big crash there. Oh, it's McLaren Mason diving down the inside here of the GTR. And is he going to get that move done? Bit of oversteer on the exit there. On the wet line, I think he's backed out of it there. Yes, he has. Oh, no, he hasn't. He's going down the inside at the hairpin there. He's on the slippery curve there.
Move.
In
if
the
he
wet
can pull that out, he's got it. What a move.
Awesome move in the McLaren Mason. Beautiful job there before the Schumacher S's. That is the place to get an overtake.
That's a bit wide, though. That's very wide. He's got to defend that now. The GTR will have the run, surely. The GTR is back in front now.
What a scrap over here, and we're behind them. We've got a Porsche and an Audi fighting.
Is that Gunter trying to get back through the field? It is. Oh, there's slight contact there. Phillips won't like that. But you can see that racing line's not all that wet anymore from our camera.
No, it's certainly not. It is drying up out there. Very soon, we'll be seeing that crossover. Whoever... Is there a way we can read on who started on what tyre?
So wet tyres, I do believe, don't have a colouring wall on the sidewall.
Right.
And dry tyres have the yellow. So there's a McLaren there hugging the wet line.
Well, we'll certainly start to see a clear pace drop off from the wet to the dry tyres.
Yeah.
Yeah, that won't be easy to hide as the wet tyres start to overheat.
Carlson's around. He was just about to hassle. He's kept it. What? He's tried to go reverse entry into turn 3. It's probably not the best bet. If they are slick tyres, it will have warmed them up just slightly.
Just a wonderful move there. The Honda of Bridges just squeezing past Pilat in that first sector. That technical left-right section there, getting past nice and easy. Beautiful overtake there in the Honda by Bridges. And Adrian is now being chased down by that GTR
of Foster. So maybe Adrian covering a bit of damage after that incident, lap 2. Maybe just a slight bit of damage, and that's hurt his confidence on this set of tyres.
Oh, it's an Audi! Oh, sorry.
There's a Lambo right there. Who's that? Who?
There was a McLaren and a Lamborghini. I think it was a Lamborghini stopped
Carlson.
On the apex.
Yeah, who's that Lamborghini that stopped?
I'm not sure. I think it might have been
Mitchell, was it?
Mitchell.
It was
I
Mitchell.
think it was. And I think it was Carson as well.
So Robert Shaw up to P2 now. Big gap down to Paul Tracy into P3. I know the timing charts aren't saying that, but that's what will happen. There we go. They've just changed now. So
that is heartbreak for Carson, who was running up in P4. I don't know what has happened there. He's dropped all the way. Oh, and there's an accident at the chicane. A Porsche's gone up the back end of the McLaren, and now there's a McLaren stopped on the apex of the chicane, and a Porsche in the gravel. That'll be going to the steward's room.
Oh, there's another contact here. Mike Rills just hit. Who's in the Aston?
Oh wow! And there's an Aston Martin drifting in the pit lane.
I couldn't figure out who was doing what. So everyone's starting to get a bit flustered here. Back to the front. Duke's got a 20 second lead on Robert Shaw.
Are you serious? Oh wow!
Got Tracy right behind him, hassling him here for the P2.
Oh.
Tracy on the outside line. There's contact. There's contact there as well. Tracy's off. Robert Shaw's off. Bridges has gone through for P2. Adrian now for P3. Foster for P4 with Tracy right behind him now.
That was ambitious, Mark, and I'm sure Robert Shaw will be going to the stewards after that. That was aggressive.
Tracy's having a look here at Foster as well. Keep it clean, guys. Keep it clean. He's backed out of it. GTR will have the legs up the hill, that's for sure.
Foster, he is making a charge up this field in that GTR.
He certainly
Absolutely
is.
incredible to see.
So, what else have we got? We got out. Where's Mark Beers at? He's just been overtaken by Ethan Wilcox. So Wilcox now up to P9 after that pit lane start. So he's done it quietly. Robert Shaw down to P11 according to timing.
Yeah, I was riding on board after the accident. It took him a little while to start that Ferrari back up when it was in the gravel. He's lost a lot of time there. He's dropped right to the back. Unfortunate there for Robert Shaw.
Back up to the front with Darren Bridges. He's got a Adrian Palat 7/10 behind him.
Indeed he does.
We're running rear board camera here, and there seems to be no spray coming off this Honda. So, well, there's a bit there. As we said in qualifying, that's the spot where it pulls. So, what can Adrian do now? What a hectic,
On the chase.
What a hectic start. First 10 minutes of this race.
Oh, definitely. We've seen some awesome racing, some unfortunate accidents, and now this race is really starting to unfold, particularly on the strategy here. And, you know, adapting on that switch over from the wet track to the dry track.
Yeah,
and we're starting to see a bit of pace difference now. Some drivers that are stronger in the wet are starting to drop back. Some drivers are starting to reel others in. We've got a battle unfolding here as Palat starts to reel in Bridges in that Lamborghini. So awesome work from Adrian.
And then behind them you got P4, 5, 6 all in a train. 7 as well if Gunter can get up to the back of it. So we've got battles absolutely everywhere here, guys, and I don't know where to focus.
Bridges has had an awful run up the
Adrian's having a look at the inside. No, he's going to back out of it. Probably smart racing there by Palat. Just make him aware that you're there, which I'm sure he'll know anyway.
Right under the diffuser of that Honda.
And we've got rain in 10 minutes. We have rain in 10 minutes. So, anyone on dry tyres, this could be the call, Harry. How long is this rain going to hang? Adrian's got a horrible run through that final chicane. Mounted too much curb. That GTR of Foster has caught these two something wicked, and he's dragged everybody with him. So this is now a battle of 6 for second position, guys. Jukes, he's out of turn 4 already. These guys aren't even out of turn 1 yet.
That's absolutely unreal. And these guys are not slow drivers.
No, Duke's absolutely flying. Just under 204.4. And this next group's quickest is a 206.5, and that was P6.
That's crazy.
Or P7 at 206.4. So, Darren Bridges is doing Duke an absolute favour here. Not saying Darren's driving slow by any means for the conditions, but we got rain coming back in 3 minutes. So, who's out on wets, who's on dries will be the telling point now. Robert Shaw up to P11. He's chasing down Mark Beers for the 10th position. Mitchell up to 12th after his accident. He's already got the windscreen wiper running. So David Mason in 13th, Zach G in 14th. Real has just left the pits. Now that would be interesting to see what he's put on, because rain's going to get heavier according to our little map here. So keep a watch out for M Real down there in 17th at the moment, people. Could be a very tasty little battle. We're on board. We're focusing here with Tracy now riding on board, sees steering wheel controls. very calm and collected inside the cockpit. Gets a great run out of the corner. He's hassling this GTR now.
That Porsche absolutely screaming down the main straight of the Nurburgring. He just seems a little bit too far back to make a move. Late braking there, trying to get every last bit of time he can out of that GTR. Oh,
he's just hit
shocking
the curb.
run
That's
over the
right,
inside curb there.
He's got a
Who's
Porsche
that?
on the outside
Phillips.
of Phillips. Phillips is going to lose ground here, mate. Oh, Gunter could have stuck the nose up. Oh, Phillips is having a look. Don't touch.
Oh.
Don't touch. Still a bit of water there on the track. You can see it. It's going to get heavy rain in 10 minutes. This is absolute carnage. Duke's bolted away from the field.
Wow, this is unreal, Mark. Now, what is the driver thinking here with 3 minutes until standard rain, 10 minutes until heavy rain? Man, you really got to be careful out there as this track starts to get wet. And we've got some drivers out there on different tyres. This will be interesting to see how strategy plays out here. And more importantly, how these drivers are able to adapt from the opposite to what we started on, from wet to dry, and now they're going from dry back to wet.
That
so
is
this
a great camera angle there, just to cut in. I saw from P2 to P8 as an overhead cam through the Schumacher S's, mate.
Yeah.
We are getting everyone. Now Ethan Wilcox is coming into the picture as well, so we are getting from P2 all the way, and the rain is here. The rain is here, so this will test out who picked wets to start the race.
And also, Mark, there's big time to be gained, even just a one-lap decision. If you come in a lap earlier, there could be plenty of time to gain. If you come in even a lap later, there could be time to gain.
Rose in. Gunther is in.
He's in.
He's the first one to board.
This is fascinating.
Another one being caught out by the pit limiter line. It's very different here at the Nurburgring. It's not very well visually seen. So
Adrian's run wide at turn 1. He was all the way out in the ground.
All the way out.
He's
lost the spot there to Foster at least.
Oh, and Phillips right up the back end here of that yellow Porsche. Is he going to have a look down the inside?
Tracy's trying to get around Adrian.
These Porsches are going hell for leather, chasing down that Lamborghini.
This is great, right? Oh, there's a Lexus on the outside. Who's that? That's Falconer in the Lexus.
Wow.
Phillips got a terrible bit of traction there, and he's got him.
Now look at this. We've got another Nissan on the back end of that Porsche, and all of a sudden, it's like a 7-way battle here. This is unreal. This is unreal.
Gunter's still in the pits. He must be fixing a bit of damage, putting wet weathers on. And he's out.
This
almost sounded like he stalled that then.
Phillips now dropping off the back end of that Lexus. Losing a bit of time now. Adrian running his way up the Schumacher S's. That yellow Porsche of Tracy right up the back of him here. Not giving him an inch. This is incredible racing.
This is the race to watch. Ladies and gentlemen, what have we got here at the back of the field? Just to give these guys some screen time as well. We will come back. We got a Rob Mitchell has just got past the Beers, but they're not too far out from this battle that we're watching. Actually, Robert Shaw's got a Phillips in his sights.
Oh, here we go. Adrian and Tracy are both peeled into the pit lane. This will be interesting to watch, Mark. The crossover in time, the benefit from running the wet tyre against the soft. It's a sprint against the clock between the dry tyre staying out there and the guys coming in on wets. Let's see these guys.
I wonder if Duke started on wets. By the look of it, Duke has.
Interesting.
So
if he started on wets, that's an ultimate win for him. I mean, he's got the pace to win this regardless, but if he started on wets, that's winner.
Foster's up to P2 in the GTR, mate. Let's go. Wow. Let's just call the race there, mate. We got Japanese on 2, 3, 4, mate, technically. We got Lexus there in 4th. I'm going to claim them as a Jap. Let's
Yep.
go. To take it in context, Duke's just through the Schumacher S's, and Darren Bridges and James aren't even down at the hairpin yet. So Duke's absolutely run away with this. Adrian and Tracy is still in pit lane.
And Robert Shaw as well is coming to the pits.
And Phillips. Adrian's off.
There we go.
Tracy's off.
Oh, he's actually
Phillips is
formed a
out.
bit of a gap there.
And Robert Shaw's out as well. So everyone's out of pit lane. Still no drive-throughs yet. Duke's still hanging out, so I reckon he's on wets. Duke has to be
He
on
has
wets.
to be.
That's a 100 IQ play right there. That GTR of Foster's looks a bit battered and bruised down the driver's side of the cockpit there.
Here we go. Now, this will be interesting. Will he come into... You'd have to think he'd be coming into the pits unless he started on wets.
I reckon the top 4 are all on wets.
Yeah, he's staying out. I don't think there'd be any reason to stay out on dries at this point. So, yeah, it's pretty safe to say that GTR has come all the way from... I don't know where he started, Mark. But he's all the way up into P2.
I reckon the top 6 are all on wets. Top 7 maybe. Mark's on wets. Mason looks to be on wets.
That is a game changer. So basically, whoever chose to start on the wet tyre, that is a winner. So my prediction, Mark, starting on the dry tyre, I would be ruined in this race.
You would be back there with Robert Shaw and Adrian, 13th, 14th,
Yep.
15th.
Yep, I'd be tucked all the way back there. So basically what I'm saying is I'm never getting in a car again.
No, you might as well
And in
just
the cold box.
call your career there.
Yeah.
Emril, he had that really early pit stop, hasn't really made any gains of that. Who else is in? Jordan in the Aston Martins come into pits, and Huddy.
Oh, a Honda has run wide into the hairpin, and now there is a battle brewing between a Honda and a Lexus. He's let him by.
He has.
So
yes.
Falconer there getting past Bridges there. I think that's for P3 mark. So
P3,
now
yes, it is.
Falconer on the chase, Lexus versus Nissan. Here we go.
Yep. V8 versus V6. Oh, we got a.
I mean, Bridges isn't
Gunter
out of
Rowe
his
and
either.
Adrian here battling as well. Gunter got a terrible run out of turn 4, I do believe it was. Adrian on the outside.
Boys!
As he made
Almost
the move
contact
still.
there.
Oh, camera's not really picking it up. It's doing whatever it wants.
Wow, yeah.
Dave,
What a battle
cameraman.
here between the identical twins wearing different makeup.
That sounds like a really good night, but we won't go there.
Oh man.
Zach-
Oh man, the comedy
Zach
has
takes the
not
road.
changed.
He's got a long way to go before Adrian catches him though.
Adrian's off the gravel.
Adrian's again, still having trouble. Gunter's got back through. Tracy's got through by the look of it.
And neck and neck into the left-hander. They're still side by side as we approach the fast right. Is
Oh,
Tracy gonna
Adrian's
pull
got back
into the
through.
inside? Awesome racing there. Recovery by Adrian. He's still struggling. Oversteering on the exit there of the right-hander. Twitching around. He's managed to get that thing pulled up and in a straight line. Thankfully, Adrian
We got Mark
struggling
Beers
out
in
there
the
in the
pits
wet
as
mud.
well. In the Porsche of 73. And we have got a couple of stop goes for Huddy and Phillips. Would be for speeding in pit lane. So they obviously got caught out there by dry tyres and a unseeable pit board, I do believe. let's just currently, now we have been given permission to do this from a couple of drivers. So let's get Mr. Adrian Palat in here. No, because I can't. Can I? No, I can't. So, I kind of can, but I can't scroll down. Here we go. Mr. Adrian Palat, are you there?
Hello.
Hello, mate. You seem to be struggling here in the wet, mate. What's your thoughts? I don't want to take too much of your time because you got a great battle.
Sorry, just give me a sec.
Yeah, you're right.
I'll push the talk button is on my wheel, so... yeah, the strategy sort of stuffed me up a little bit with the fact that the rain came back.
Yep.
But other than that...
Oh, they've gone deep. All three of them.
other than that... yeah, it would have worked. I think Duke's started on wets, and it's worked for him.
He is currently in pits, so... I think he did start on wets, yes.
Yeah, his pace is too good for dries.
Yeah. So you've got your hands full there, mate, so we'll let you go, and I'll try and grab someone else, mate. But you have got dry in 10 minutes, just to let you know.
Yeah, no worries. Grab Tracy so he can crash in front of me.
Yeah, Roger.
That'd be nice.
Alright, mate, you have fun, and we'll talk to you later.
Cheers.
So there we have it, Harry. Adrian did try and start on the dries.
Yeah, he did the exact call I would have made. So, yeah, great minds think alike. Great minds think alike. But in this case, not really great minds. He's down there in 11th. Unfortunate there. When he was off to a pretty good start as well. Yeah, I'm just unfortunate there and really struggling out there in the wet conditions, even on that wet tyre. So, unfortunate to see there for Adrian.
And
who have we got up the front?
Duke's down in 6th, mate, after his pit stop.
Duke's top.
I don't know if he's had an off or
What has happened to Duke?
Well, he was in pit lane. I don't currently know why. We'll have to... Oh, he's had another off. He's off at the hairpin.
Oh no, his race is crumbling. What has happened to Duke?
You'd think he'd stay on wet tyres, surely.
Well, yeah, you'd think so.
We're back on board with Gunter here, with Tracy right behind. Oh, Gunter's hit the curb and he's off. This might help Adrian. Can he get back into it? Where are they coming down to the hairpin? Oh, Gunter's gone deep again. Adrian's snuck in. This is a great little battle here between the two yellow, the two yellow cars and Adrian.
The banana cars.
B1 and B2.
Wow, this is. Yeah, that's exactly right. Adrian now fighting into the top 10 after falling down the field. I bet he's having an absolute ball out there. Good to see a bit of battling out there. Always fun to watch in the wet conditions, sliding about. A few mistakes, capitalization on those mistakes as we're seeing with Adrian. Awesome to see. Great racing here.
Awesome. Just to recap, ladies and gentlemen, we got James Foster, currently P1 from Darren Bridges in the Honda for P2. They are about 2.5 seconds, I do believe. We'll get a track map up, so we will see. So the red dot's your leader, 82's the next car, so they're within the same corner complex. Falconer in the Lexus has just gone very deep at the hairpin, so he's dropped the position, and if he's not overly careful, he will get taken by a Ethan Wilcox in the second of the GTRs, mate. So we could have two Nissans in the top 3. Who would have thought that at the Nurburgring?
That's unreal. That is unreal. Awesome to see, though. Awesome to see.
Duke has left the lobby, so Duke's out completely.
Oh wow, he's done. He's retired it.
He's retired. So,
from being out ahead by at least 20 seconds to retiring the car. That is unfortunate there
yeah.
for Duke.
So, anyone's race, still. Dry weather again in 10 minutes. Will we see any more dry tyre running? 16 minutes left in the race. Rob Mitchell's in the Lamborghini. So everyone should have done their pit stops. Tracy's just starting to pull away here from Adrian in the Porsche. Now we go back to fourth of Ethan Wilcox, who's got the Lexus in his sights. Got a bit of a battle here. 3 cars. Must be Zach G, is it? In the Porsche it is. So we've got 3rd, 4th and 5th all there in the shot, guys. So Ethan Wilcox in the Nissan. Probably one of the easier cars in the wet to drive. Apart from the Bentley. But the Bentley, if you set that up wrong, will be treacherous wherever you drive it.
I can't believe Foster is out there in the Nissan up in the lead. That is just awesome to see. A well-fought, I mean, it's far from over, Mark, but incredible to see there. The perseverance out in that car. Good to see it out there in the lead.
Rob Mitchell's got a drive-through for... I don't actually know. It hasn't come up.
I think it might have been speeding.
Now, speeding's usually stop and go. Drive-throughs are usually track limits. Yes. So, who else can we get here? Huddy is at the back. James is leading. We won't get him in. We get a mark. If I can work this again. Are you there, Mark?
Yeah, mate.
How's your race going, mate? Currently P13.
Not too bad. I'm battling with the water. It's a fucking nightmare.
You and everybody else, mate. You and everybody else.
Mate. Yeah, it's fucking pretty slippery, man. It's a bit of a fucking ordeal at the moment, but not too bad. I had a bit of an altercation with Ethan earlier. I heard him say something, but I don't know if it was derogatory or an apology. I'm not really sure what happened. It was just right through the chicane, but
Righty.
yeah, not having too bad a race. It's been a bit sloppy though. It's hard to keep it on the road, so.
Yeah, rightio. So,
Oh, hang on, it's a car off in front of me. Is this McLaren, lime green McLaren?
that is, hang on, I've lost absolutely everything here.
Oh,
What have I done?
another car up here. What's going on up here? There's a lot of, he's pulling into the pits. There's a lot of deep puddles and quite a few deep ruts as well, so.
Well, it is
Just when
due to
you're
dry
starting
up.
to get it all together.
Yeah, it is due to dry up any minute now.
Yeah, about 3 minutes or so.
Yeah, so,
Yeah.
will you go back to drive or are you just going to try and hang out this wet, mate?
I'm not so sure, to be fair.
Not so sure.
Oh, this corner gets me every time. Just cannot get around here in the wet at all.
At all?
Never mind.
Never mind, you got it?
Yeah, mate, I'm all good.
All good.
I'm happy if I finish the race, to be fair. In
Yeah.
my head, I'm contemplating what I'm going to do once this track runs out of water. I'm kind of hoping it's going to stay a bit puddly until at least the end of the race, because I've pitted. I started on wets and went in and changed to wets. So
So
don't know
you put a fresh set of wets on?
I did, yeah. The ones I had on the car, mate, they were wrecked. The track had dried out that much, and they started to go orange and red. So I figured I'd just change it for the sake. So
Yep.
yeah, they're starting to get a bit hot now. So either way.
Yep.
Oh, easy done.
Easy done.
I'll leave you to it. Go pick on someone else.
You have fun out there, right?
Thanks for the chat.
See you, mate. Bye.
See ya. Bye.
So, another one. Alternate strategy to Adrian. He started on the wets, but he had overheating issues.
Yeah, that's spirit of racing there. People fighting their different problems, and yeah, those strategies ultimately are unfolding on the same track, and we can see where they've ended up from those just slight decisions. You know, just slight tires overheating, having to come in, or taking the call to stay out. It's all still unfolding, even with only 10 or 11 minutes to go. There's plenty of decisions left to be made, plenty of time to be gained or lost out here, Mark, at the Nurburgring.
Yeah. So, current Foster P1, Bridges P2, Wilcox now P3. Falconer is in pits serving a stop-go. Not too sure what that is for. I would assume a speeding in pit lane, but I thought he'd already made his pits. But anyway, he's still going to come out in front of Adrian by a long way. Is he? No, Adrian's at the hairpin. So, no, sorry. Got that all mixed up. So Falcon has dropped out to 8th position after that extra visit in the pit lane. Wilcox in the pits, make his one and only pit stop. What will he do? Not dry enough for dries yet.
Certainly not. There's plenty of water out there. I mean, a track can dry out pretty quickly, but no matter what tyre you're on, with 10 minutes to go, I'd almost be tempted to just stay out. Well,
there is a compulsory pit stop, so Wilcox didn't set that. He's already on the move, so he hasn't changed tyres.
Yes, and Foster. I didn't actually realise that. They still got a pit. Bridges and Foster still have to pit.
Oh. So Wilcox is out. Comfortably in front of Adrian.
I'm not wrong in saying that, am I reading this right? Foster and Bridges?
It would be right, yeah. Yes. Yes, Foster and Bridges still have to pit.
That's interesting. That's interesting. So, yeah, they'd almost have to be leaving that last minute.
They have the gap. Obviously, if Wilcox can get out in front of Adrian, they've got the gap to pit and stay where they are.
Yeah, I'd say don't take tyres, just come in, serve the stop and go.
Well, yeah, come in, put a dab of fuel in.
Yeah. There's really
because I don't think
not much point changing tyres out here.
Yeah, I don't think anyone's going to come in and put dries on.
No.
With 8 minutes left, you wouldn't have.
Whatever tyre you're on, you're not. Oh, here we go. Here comes Foster into the pit lane. We should just see a pretty routine splash and dash in every sense of the word here.
Bridges staying out, one more lap. He's got that pit limiter on pretty early.
Yeah.
I hope he's selected not to fix any of that damage.
True, actually.
Otherwise that might drop him. Where's Wilcox? Coming through the S's. Coming around the last corner now. G-Shar's on the ground. Go, 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 go. He's spun the wheels. It's going to be tight. It's going to be very close. Ethan might just get him here.
He's got to stop and go.
Oh, no.
He's sped in the pit lane.
He's sped in the pit lane. Has he come out in front of Ethan?
No, that is heartbreak
That is...
for the Nissan. That is
Oh,
awful
no.
news there for Foster, crumbling in front of his eyes. Simple mistake to make, and oh, that is so unfortunate. Being so cautious on that pit limiter on the way in.
Yeah.
To then do that, that is
On the
silly.
way out, that's unfortunate. But you can see he only just come out in front of Wilcox. Bridges will probably come behind these two. So Ethan's going to take the lead, well, the provisional lead here after starting in pit lane, Harry. Neither of us saw that.
Wow. Wow. Unreal.
32 degrees track temp. With 6 minutes left. Everyone could be
Here we
searching
go.
for water.
Riding on board with Bridges. Surely he'll be coming in this lap.
Oh, he has to. Surely.
Oh yes, yeah, come on.
Surely does.
Into the final chicane.
Very gingerly into there.
It is not coming in.
No. Still staying out.
I thought the pit window rule was like the 5 minutes either way. Like you can't come in 5 minutes.
Nah, there's no window this season.
Okay, right. Sorry, my bad.
So previous seasons we did have that. Yes, there was a pit window, just to stop guys pitting lap 1. But that was more in tail for the reverse grid too, so we didn't see the quick guys just box back and then have open track. You know, we forced them to race. Oh, that's another one.
Oh no!
I bet you that's another one there for Foster.
That is. No words for that. That's so heartbreaking there.
I would almost
What could have
guarantee you
been-
that would be another drive through there for Foster. Adrian comes through now to take P3.
What a comeback drive from Adrian, can we just point out?
Yeah. Where were they at the
What a
15th?
recovery. Yeah.
He's in front of Tracy and Rowe, who he was battling with there a while ago. So he's really got, and we've got rain again in 10 minutes.
Jesus, could you imagine if this was an hour race?
Oh, mate.
That's like 3 or 4 weather switch ups in one race.
So Foster didn't get another drive through, so he's out on track.
In 6th place.
Sorry, I just lost my mouse there inadvertently. Couldn't see what was happening. So, yeah, he's coming out in 6th.
Bridges is into the pit lane here, Mark.
Oh, okay. What's he going to do? Where's Ethan? Ethan's coming through the S's, the final S's now.
Oh, he's going to take the lead. He'd have to.
Coming around the final corner.
Yeah, he'll take the lead. No questions asked there.
On the gas already. Oh, he stalled the Honda. Has he? No, he's just got dropped now. I thought he stalled it. It's a very long pit stop.
It is. It was. And he's going to come out ahead of Adrian. So, at the effective, still a few minutes to go here. But at the moment, assuming no one has any moments, the current top 3 is Ethan in the lead, followed by Bridges, and then Adrian, not far behind Wilcox. Sorry, Bridges, my bad. This leaderboard is really messing me up here. So, in the lead, Wilcox in the Nissan, followed by Bridges in the Honda, and Adrian in third. So yeah, what a recovery drive from Adrian. I did predict him to be in this top 3, Mark.
You did. And Robert Shaw's back up to 5th after his lap 1 turnaround. Was it lap 1, lap 2, whenever it was.
So actually, my strategy call wouldn't have been that bad.
Oh, you
Start on dries.
Yeah, start on draws, yeah. I
mean, also just incredible driving from Adrian.
Yeah, I reckon you're. What we should have done is started in pit lane, mate, because that seems to be the strat.
True. True that.
Miss all the carnage, and then keep your nose clean, and just come home with a. Well, at this present time, come home with a comfortable win. Darren Bridges, mate, I'll take my hat off to you. He's done an excellent job here in the Honda. If he can keep it on the podium. Adrian is hassling, chasing down on the final lap. But I reckon Daz has got it.
So here we go. Wilcox.
For the last time.
On the final lap of this race. Coming through the first sector. He's on. Is this his first win of the season, Mark?
Oh, I do believe so, yeah. I think Duke's taken everything so far.
So, yeah, what a job here. Starting from pit lane. Like you said, what an effort. What an effort. What a drive. Incredible perseverance here. And on a race that most people, every driver out there, has been throwing their own unique challenges. As this race has unfolded, there's not been one minute where you could lose focus. Not been 1 minute where you could, just, oh, I'm just going to cruise to the end. You've always had to be thinking in this whole race, what's next? What am I going to do next? Am I going to come into the pits? How do I need to drive differently? All of the above.
How am I going to keep these wet tyres cool or dry tyres hot?
Yeah.
There's been a different challenge every time you've hit that corner on that following lap. And to do that for 20 laps and keep a car relatively clean. I mean, there's a bit of scuff damage down the driver's side, but that's old rubbing is racing, as they tend to say. Darren Bridges has lost 7 seconds this lap.
Unreal drive from Wilcox here as he approaches the final few corners of this Nurburgring sprint. Round 3 of the Jandal Racing Series. Season 6 goes to Ethan Wilcox in the Nissan, starting from pit lane. Awesome drive there.
Awesome
in
work,
the golden
awesome
Nissan.
Work. Let's see if he comes in combox. Hang on, how did I do it before? Are you there, Ethan?
I most certainly am here.
Congratulations on the win, mate. Yeah, tell us how you feel about that.
Very surprised, to be honest. I don't know if you guys noticed, but I started the race from pit lane.
Oh yeah.
We noticed.
And I actually was going to put on a set of slicks, but I forgot to click slick, but I did change the pressures. So basically I was out there on a set of wet tyres with dry tyre pressure the whole race.
Oh, that's...
my word.
Well, you've done very well, mate, to come out with the win.
Yeah, I think because of, well, obviously what we didn't know at the start of the race, but we now know that actually ended up being a really good strategy, because as the track dried, my wet tyres didn't overheat, but they were sort of just at the bottom of the range when it was really wet.
Yep.
So it was actually a really good strategy in the end.
Yeah, right, because we spoke to Beers with about 15 minutes left, 20 minutes maybe, halfway. And he had to box for new wets because that dry period just cooked his original set. So you didn't have any of those issues?
No, it got a little bit warm. So I think they got up to sort of low 31s, which is like and they were starting to get a little bit orange as it started to rain again. So it was, yeah, like I said, pretty much the perfect temperature.
Right.
Because when it was soaking wet, they were still in range.
Yeah. Did you think you were going to come with the win after your fellow driver Foster come out of the pits right in front of you?
I thought I was in with a good chance.
Yeah.
I was just like, near the end there, I was like, oh yeah, I might come out with a podium. And then all of a sudden, Foster gets the penalty, and I don't know what happened to Bridges in the lane, but he seemed to be held in there a bit longer than the rest of us. So
I think Bridges repaired some damage.
yeah,
maybe.
I think so too.
Yeah. So So great race there, mate, and your first win for the season, I do believe.
Yep. This is only my second race for the season, and I don't think I did too well in the first one. So
Yep.
yeah, first win.
So congratulations, and hope you can take that momentum forward for Imola next weekend, mate.
Ah, shit, it's similar.
And enduro next weekend, mate. So hopefully you can take that confidence on, mate, and we can keep it building.
Hopefully.
All right, mate. Well, Harry, mate, you got anything else you wish to add?
Nah, I don't think so, mate. Just incredible work there. Wilcox, just incredible drive, mate. Well done.
Amazing drive.
An incredible fluke, but hey, I'll take it.
Nah, mate, takes serious driving to get that thing to the line, especially starting from pit lane. So well done.
Yeah, we've got Adrian also in the com box. Adrian come home P3 after the was it first lap incident, second lap incident?
Yeah, I had a bit of a shunt from behind. Yeah, and the strategy was a bit strange. I wasn't counting on the rain to come back.
Yep.
So
Adrian.
I'm happy with that. Yeah.
I was just going to tell you my strategy, but I've already said it on the video, so we might save it for a bit later.
No worries, I'll watch the video.
Did I had push to talk on. I got that little tap on the arse from you. All I had was car 73. I wasn't sure whether I caused that or whether you caused it.
That was me. That was all me. It was my stuff up that just
right.
ended up tapping into you.
Yeah, I was right up the arse of that yellow fucking Audi, but is what it is.
Yeah, I didn't have my up, so I couldn't see which car 73 was.
Oh, that's okay. All good.
All right, guys. Well, I'll end the stream and then we can continue on. So, thanks everyone. We got Imola 90-minute race next weekend. So tune in then for that, and we'll see you all then. Thanks for tuning in. Thank you. Goodbye.